briefly tell you about that. I so appreciate you going in circles for the last 12 hours, and here it is evening for you. A respectful host would have said, put your feet up, have a nice meal. We'll just do this again, at another time or in half an hour. And you still made this a priority. I also love the priority that the other guest who fully intended to come today ended up needing to take their turn with a loved one who is in a chronic medical need. And I said, right choice, family first. Absolutely. And then I sent you a message and I said, hey, you can just treat this like an infomercial, because I didn't fill the room with people. I didn't have a list of people to pop into the screen because, let's see, all of our earthly possessions arrived a few days ago in a land far, far away.
Wow.
And it isn't that I couldn't have just set up on one of the moving boxes and kept things going. But even when I was an educator, a classroom educator, a teacher at different levels, I kind of had this stutter, or this like stutter step, like people do before they jump over a hurdle, trying to get their pace right so that they don't biff it on the hurdle. And so the little boop, 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 when things should be all smooth, it's like, but I don't know where the forks are, so I just can't get on LinkedIn. But I thought that I packed a shower curtain. I thought I packed 2 shower curtains in 2 places, and thus far I have found 0.
Well, that's
So there's a lot of water in the bathroom. And so I have to put all the feathers into the nest before I can go forth and accomplish. So I had 2 people. One person had that priority. You have made aging better a priority for you. And then I can release you to just catch your breath again. Rena, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Christine. You've been traveling around a lot. I know you just moved and you have a lot going on. Well, thank you for your commitment to this.
Oh, I'm just grateful, because the last time that we communicated, and honestly, it all crisscrosses together. I will be on the phone with one person, on the screen with another person, tapping away on messages, getting into emails. And I'm like, it all blends together with me. So you and I were communicating, and you had new stuff going on, new endeavors.
Yes.
Is that part of what you're going to talk about today?
I would love to. I would like to talk about 2 really, really wonderful endeavors that I'm working on, that I've worked on with a group of people that I think could be so helpful for people that are caregiving. So the first thing is the book. Did you see the book, The Caregiver's Advocate? Debbie Compton was the lead author. You know Debbie, right?
Oh, Debbie. Yes. Yeah. I must have. Did I comment? I should have commented.
It could be you did.
I might have.
It's very possible you did.
You happen to have like a copy of the book? Like,
I do. Hold on one second.
Good. I will. Hold on one second. As I say hi to Steve. Steve, I'm only 1 hour difference from you. In fact, Atlanta is where my husband often lands to meet with somebody in Alabama. And he says, now I'm just going to drive. In fact, he's going to meet with that person halfway in between, I think that's Louisiana. I really need a map on the wall. Steve, I am thrilled to see you again. Rena has been a guest, I believe, one other time.
Yes, that
And
was a
that
long
was with
time
a
ago.
room full of people. And
Yeah,
there was a performer, and there was a gal
yeah,
who invented
yeah,
a cane
yeah. That
that
was amazing.
that improves your abilities,
Yeah,
because she needed it. As so many people say, I was looking for
yes.
a solution, finding none. I had to invent it myself. Segue to Rena.
I really should keep, Christine, I should keep this book right here on my desk, but it was in my living room because we were reading it.
And I had
Okay.
to run. I had to pull my screen away and run and go get my books too, going, why are they not on my desk? Because
Right.
I'm in a new place.
This is called The Caregiver's Advocate. It is a collaborative book. That means 20 different professionals each wrote a chapter in here. So it is gold. It is gold. So I wrote the chapter 11, which is called What Did I Come to the Fridge For? Or Why Did I Come to the Fridge? And it's about memory. It's 4 techniques to improve memory. But this book is fantastic. Every caregiver, if anyone is taking care of an elderly person, whether they have dementia or they don't have dementia, this is on Amazon. If anyone's here in Israel, get in touch with me because I have copies here in Israel, and I won't charge shipping. I can get it to you. And it was a really exciting project for me. I'll just tell you something funny. People used to say to me, they kept saying to me, "Why don't you write a book? Why don't you write a book?" And I kept saying, "Because I don't want to write a book." I like to speak. I like to do webinars.
Professionally speaking.
I don't want to write a book. I want to speak. I want to teach. I want to help people. I don't want to write a book. But when Debbie told me she wanted to do this, I was like, I'm in. I was like the first author who signed on. And she got another like 20 authors, and it's all the different fields, nurses and OTs and psychologists and music therapists, and unbelievable. And each chapter is written from a different professional perspective. But when you read the book, you see that a lot of the people in there actually also have personal experience with caregiving, as I do as well. And it's a beautiful book. I actually, to tell you the truth, we worked on this for months and months with Brave Healer, Laura DeFranco, the Brave Healer publisher that Debbie got to publish it. And it was an amazing process. But what I want to say is that I actually didn't read it from cover to cover until I got it in my hands here in Israel, because it was published in America, obviously. And to ship it here was going to be very expensive. So I had Laura ship me my author's copies to America, and then my sister-in-law brought it for me. And when I got it in my hands, I was so excited. This is like the first published work. And I read it from cover to cover. And I'm like, this chapter is amazing. And then I read the next chapter. This chapter is amazing. And then I read the next chapter. This chapter is amazing. And I had been on Zoom calls with all these amazing authors, but I actually never read the whole book because they had sent me the art copy, but I can't read 200 pages on my computer. My eyes don't work like that. So when I got it in my hands and I read it, I was like, wow, this really is gold. Thank you. I see you posted the link on Amazon. It's $25. It is worth every cent and more. Just very, very practical, helpful strategies from a bunch of different perspectives. So that went live July 2nd, and it became an international bestseller, I think in 6 categories in 3 countries. Yeah, crazy. Like quickly, like over a couple of days, it became an international bestseller. And I was like, how did that happen? But what it tells me is that there's a real need for this. That's what it tells me.
Right.
There's a serious need for a book like this. There are not a lot of books out there for caregivers. And this is filling a need, and it is a beautiful book. So I'm not even promoting the book. I'm promoting the help that we're all giving. But this book has 20 professionals, advice, tips, and strategies in there. So it's amazing. It was an amazing process to work on, and I'm so proud of it. And I already know that it's helping people because I've given it to people in my family that it's helping.
Wow. And I know that people have messaged me after the show saying, I got to hear, sorry, couldn't comment. And they bothered to even tell me that they heard. And that tells me that some people aren't even watching a screen. They're just listening in because of where they're at in a car or in meal preparation or caregiving. But they wanted to listen live. So I'm going to ask you to just very intentionally read us the title. And thank you to my hubby producer, D. Scott Smith, motivational listener, who just said, "Oh, I see the title. I'm just going to pop it onto the screen." People can always go to agingbetternetwork.com. You'll see a gray button that says, the live streams. Once you click on that, you're just scrolling down and going, "Oh, there's a picture of Rena on the show." And so that clues me in. Her name is underneath right there on the screenshot, the thumbnail. I can find it there. But for this very moment, tell us the title again, maybe the author, something that's going to help people find it on Amazon, because what I see is the usual www, amazon.com/caregivers-advocate-complete. Oh, that makes it worth $25 or more, dash support dash resources, and then a bunch of gobbledygook. So go ahead and give them the exact title. And maybe, is it listed under?
It is. Yeah, I think you got it. It's the Caregiver's Advocate. The Caregiver's Advocate, a complete guide to support and resources. And the lead author is Debbie DeMoss Compton, Compton. And then at the bottom, there's all the different authors. And I'm actually the last one because my name starts with Y.
Oh, she's an alphabetical order person.
Yeah. So it is really a lot of hands-on care stuff. And there's also a lawyer who wrote in here. Just really, really, really good stuff.
You know what? That alone, just the book, just knowing who put in their expertise and their heart, and knowing what their expertise is, what it is that you need to know, because very few people start their caregiving education before they need to be a caregiver.
Exactly.
It's usually right in the thick of it that you didn't even know you were a caregiver. You just know you're helping out. You know that you got to check on, that you got to talk about keys or finances or wandering or something. And to have that there and go, I need a lawyer. I need to talk to the right kind of lawyer. I should actually be checking on whatever the topic is. And it just, what a great place to start when you're completely befuddled.
Yes, exactly. Debbie and I have discussed this. We actually did a summit for caregivers. It's called the Loving Care Summit about 1.5 years ago. And we were discussing how the caregivers, they don't know where to turn. They don't even know to call themselves caregivers, like you said. And it's a whole new arena that they really don't know where to begin, and they get thrown into it. And then it's like, whoa! It's like you have to find your way, and they flounder around a lot. So this, and in the back of this, Debbie compiled a whole chapter of resources, and everything from the AARP to the Dementia Map to Patient Advocacy Foundation, like 4 pages of 6 pages of resources for caregivers. It's amazing.
Yes. So to take a more general, these are perfectly intelligent, capable people who have love, or at least a sense of duty, who are going, why do I feel dumb? I don't like feeling dumb. I put in Alzheimer's because I think that's what's going on. And somehow I have 14 million different things to choose from. We know that's not an exaggeration.
Right.
So here you go right to that spot and go, Lewy body, frontotemporal. Oh, look at, now I know words that I can put in. I become an advocate, and I need an advocate because I care?
Right.
And and how do I, is there any support for me? Just knowing those names. Gosh, what you want to do is get on LinkedIn. You just
Yeah.
realize, oh my goodness, I'm taking over on stuff that this person never needed help with any of this before. Get on LinkedIn and start putting in those names that are on there, and you'll find out they want to give you a free half hour, or they have a
Yeah.
list of courses that they're offering for free so that you can look
Yeah.
at it and go, that's me, that's us, that just happened.
Right.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love it.
It's
Gosh,
gold.
that's the whole show right there. No, I'm kidding. You've got more.
Yes, I've got more. So that's a book, and that's exciting. And my most recent program that I just launched, which is really super fun. I want to tell everyone about it, and it's so easy to join. It's called Empower, like empower your memory. And it's actually a WhatsApp brain training chat that I run. So every day I post a brain exercise in there. So it's for the people that say to me, where do I start with brain training? Or what do I do every day? And all you have to do, it's for people that have WhatsApp, obviously, because it's a WhatsApp chat. It's called Empower, and it's a membership.
Spell empower. Does it matter?
It's MPOWER, but I'm going to put it.
So the letter M. Gotcha.
Yeah, the letter M, Power. Empower. It's called the Empower Brain Training WhatsApp group, and I'll put the link in there. It has a very low cost membership, $7 a month, and I just finished running a 7-day free trial, but that is over. Yeah. But I did offer 7 free exercises, and they were really fun. Everything from, I'll tell you some of the exercises in a minute. Good. But what it is 5 days a week I post, and you can do it whenever you want. So if you don't have time right this minute, later tonight, you can sit down and do the exercise, and you will know that you will have worked your brain. And they're varied, fun, challenging, and stimulating. And it's just a really good way to get a good brain workout. So should I share some of the brain exercises? I think your audience
I
will
wish you would. There is a difference. There is a big difference. And so many people, maybe some of the authors in that book, agree that if you do crossword puzzles every day, you do not vary from that. You don't try a different level. You don't come at something from a different standpoint. You don't put yourself in the hot seat and go, okay, something's coming at me and I have to make sense of it. I have to draw on different parts of my brain.
Exactly.
Even one of my clients, I said, you are so intelligent. And that person said, I do this every day. They use a lot of the same words again and again. Yeah. I go through and I go, yeah, I know that prompt, that cue, whatever. And I just throw them in. And I thought, but he's still intelligent. However, he's not drawing from any other parts of his brain. And that's what we do when we're living and active and dealing with traffic and kids and what the boss wants and how do I become an author? Which, Rena, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm not putting myself in the hot seat anymore. I'm doing something that's comfortable, and that's great. Keep doing comfortable things. Keep being calm and relaxed and see, yeah, I still got it. But do something different, and that's what you provide.
Exactly.
Go for it. I'm ready.
Exactly. And you're right, because doing crossword puzzles every day is great for one part of your brain, but it's the equivalent of going to the gym and just working your bicep muscle. Right? So when you go to the gym, you got to work all the muscles in your body. So the same thing with your brain. You got to cross-train your brain. So it's about a variety of stuff. And it's so interesting. I do a lot of word games, which are good, but then I also do math stuff. And when I put math stuff in there, people go, I'm not good at math. I can't do this, which is so interesting because math is a different part of the brain than the verbal, but we automatically think we're not good at math. I mean, many of us, unless you're like an accountant or a math professor or, used to doing numbers. But a lot of us are scared of math. And even at the age of 80 something, people say to me, I'm not good at math. And I said, just try it. It'll work a part of your brain that you're not used to working. And that will be good for you. That will create new brain cells, new pathways, and it will stimulate your brain. Even if you don't get the answer right. It doesn't even matter. It's the trying that works.
Yes, I was going to say, as you cross out wrong answers, you're actually learning that too.
Yes.
A scientist told us, I did my job very well. I worked at something for 2 years and failed every time. That's 2 years worth of data that no other scientist has to waste time on.
Right,
This thing stays, this molecule stays intact or keeps its characteristics or integrity or whatever, no matter what you blast it with. All these things. And it's like, wow, this person got paid for 2 years to not be able to change something. And it's like, I'm successful. And it's like, okay, my husband would say it is culturally acceptable to say, oh, I'm just not good at math. I don't like math.
right,
Math
right.
and I don't get along. And it is
Mhm.
culturally unacceptable. And you feel shame if you say, oh, I can't read. I can't even, I don't even know if I bought the right kind of pain reliever at the store. And people would be going, oh, you need to be able to read. So that's that. You have to get past kind of that psychological thing of, I don't want to do the math stuff. So I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you.
That's
Please
okay.
continue.
That's okay. So I'll just give you an example. So we're trying to do a variety and stimulating and challenging. If it's not hard for you, it's not working your brain. So if you are really good at crossword puzzles and you keep doing crossword puzzles, it's not stimulating your brain. You want to do something that is challenging, but not too frustrating, right? Like for me, I don't like doing jigsaw puzzles. Jigsaw puzzles are great for your brain, but I don't like doing them. It's an act of frustration. So I'm not going to do jigsaw puzzles, but some people love jigsaw puzzles and they are really good. They're even good for your working memory. So if you enjoy it, do it. If you do not enjoy it, don't do it. But the point is that we want to stimulate, challenge, and new. We want to do something new learning, new challenges. So I'll give you an example. I'll give you a few examples of some really fun ones. And you can all do this at any age. You can do this to challenge your brain. Okay. So the first one, we'll do 3 exercises. Number 1, take a book, turn it upside down, and try to read like that.
Oh.
Try to read a sentence upside down. My brain is working really hard. My brain is not used to reading like that.
I had to find the beginning of a sentence.
Right?
Where is it?
Well, it's also
it's on
confusing
the other
because
side.
I read Hebrew and English. So I read right to left and left to right. So when I open a book upside down, I have to, it's English. Okay, I have to read this way. Because I read both ways, actually.
Wow.
Because Hebrew goes the other direction from English.
Oh, fantastic.
So my brain has to you feel your brain working when you do that. And do it for 2 minutes and your brain will work. That's exercise number 1. It's so simple. You just take a book, turn it upside down, and try to read it. And it's fun also. It's like we're making our brain work in a way that it's not used to. And that's good for it. That's number 1. Number 2 is a really fun one, but you need another person. It's having a conversation without using a certain letter. So I always say the letter E, even though it's very hard. So Christina and me, let's try to have a conversation without using the letter E. So we're going to go back and forth. Now, what does this do? A, it makes you think before you talk, which is a good thing. It makes you improvise or come up with something that you want to replace, right? Improvise, or you have to come up with something else, which is really good for your brain. And it's super challenging. So I always tell people, if E is hard, do STM are easier than E, but we're going to try with E because just to show you how this goes. Okay. So I'll start.
Okay.
How you doing today?
I couldn't even get past the first word. I thought of 3 responses and they all had an E in it.
Keep thinking.
Fairly good.
Yes. No, yes has Fairly good.
Oh,
I'm
I can feel it up here. I mean,
I'm happy to know that about you. What did you do today?
had a
Food?
had toast. Can't even. It's like toddler talk for me.
Yeah.
This is great. Okay, so having
You feel your
fun
brain
with it.
working, right?
Yes, I feel like there's a tiny ping pong ball just going back and forth, going, what are words without E's in it? This is great. I can't even say your first name. I can call you
Right.
Ms. Yudkowsky.
You could.
Ms. Yudkowsky,
Yes.
can you oh wow communicate
No. Say. Use the word say.
say can you say your uh, um, book co-authors in a oh man.
It's hard. It's hard. Well, some of them have E's in them, so I can't.
Oh, very good.
A lot of the names have E's in them, so I actually can't say them.
Who doesn't have an E?
Let's see. Ooh. Frank Byram doesn't have an E.
Okay, and I don't know him yet.
No. Wow, this is really interesting because the rest, hold on one second. Okay, Kim Cassia does not have an E. And you know what? You're not going to believe this. Susan Ryan doesn't have an E. Nikki Sargent doesn't have an E because she spells it with an A. And do you know that everyone else has E's in it? Isn't that crazy? All the other names have E's in them.
Sure, I've got
That is
one.
crazy. That just goes to show that E is a really hard one. I did something challenging for you. If you do M,
yes,
S, or T,
yes, it
or
stumped.
L,
It
it'll be much
stumped
easier.
me, and then I thought I can ask a whole question, and I'm like, I'm seeing the words in my mind, and that is actually helpful for my memory. When people will tell me their name, I say, "Would you please spell that?"
Yes.
Because not if I spell their name wrong, it's just part of it. But I don't want to, but if they spell it out and I can envision that just for a second, I'm going to remember or have a better chance of remembering because apparently I'm a visual memorizer.
Yeah, so the visualization definitely helps. There are a lot of things that help with names. I actually have a whole master class. I have a 2-part master class called You Name It. And I want to teach that again soon. That's a whole thing on names. I want to say something else about this exercise with the E. It's something you can do with kids, grandchildren. It's a really fun thing. You don't need paper or pen. All you need is another person. You can even do it with 2 kids and go around, each one has a sentence and the next one has to answer the next one. It's a really fun exercise, not just to challenge your brain, but a fun activity to do with the kids. All they have to know how to do is spell in order to be able to play this game. And it's super fun. It's also something you could do in the car. Like if you're traveling with kids, you can do it. So that's a really fun one. I love that one. And because it really challenges your brain.
You can be up front and have people behind you and go, tell me what you're seeing without using the letter S.
Right.
So, and it's like, oh, I can't use many plurals. I can't use. Right. So and you do, it's tough and it doesn't hurt me.
Right.
You keep going.
Yeah.
I'm looking up something. I was given this. I went for a brief meeting with a person that's just down the lane here from where I live now, which is Waco,
Mm-hmm.
Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And that brief meeting was 2 hours.
Wow.
And one of the things that I was handed was an overview of all that they do. And 2 areas for sure of specializing, and it's aging and also adults uh, living with disabilities, that just all sorts of training, and that's what I'm trying to look up. But
Okay.
I
I'll keep going.
want you to keep telling me, because it's
I have
right there at
another
the end of the
really,
booklet.
really fun
Do it.
exercise. Okay. This one, all you need is your fingers. I call it the finger gesture exercise. Where did I even find this one? I don't even know where I even found this one. I don't remember. It was so long ago. Okay, this is super fun. And we're going to be using both parts of the brain, and that's why it's so challenging. Okay, with my right hand, I'm making the A-OK symbol, like that. With my left hand, I'm making the peace or victory symbol. Okay? And now I'm going to switch. My right hand, I'm going to do victory. Left hand, A-OK. Right hand, peace. The right hand, A-OK. Left hand, victory. It's hard to do this and talk. And keep switching. Keep switching. It gets confusing when I try to talk. I'm gonna stop talking and do it. And when you get confused, stop and start again. And don't try and then when you get really good at it, instead of switching right hand, left hand, do them both at the same time, so that both hands switch at the same time. Okay. That gets very challenging. Okay, so first step is right, left, right, left. You switch back and forth. The second level is doing them both at the same time. Closing your eyes might be helpful. Is that helpful? Okay.
When I'm looking at the screen, of course, everything's opposite. So the screen confuses me.
Yeah.
And actually looking at my hands makes me, and it might be just my brain style, that looking at my hands is worse than just envisioning what I mean to do. I mean to do that, and then I mean to do that.
Exactly. And when talking really messes you up. That's why I made a video of this, and I was talking and I was like, I messed up on the video because I can't talk and do it at the same time. But you're using both sides of your brain, and also when you do that, you're making connections in the brain. The more connections we have, the better, right? So as we age, we lose brain cells, but we can keep growing brain cells by doing these fun brain exercises. There are a lot of other things we can do that grow brain cells as well, but these are just a couple of the free exercises I did last week in my 7-day free Empower group. And then then a lot of the people actually bought Empower, and I've actually been doing Empower since January, but I have a group of people in it, and now I relaunched it, and I have a bunch of new people in it, and they're really enjoying it. One lady said it just helps her brain be more flexible. She finds she can solve problems better, be more flexible, focus and concentrate, because some of the exercises are on focus. Some are on verbal abilities, and verbal, like word games. Some are math, and not just math, but like interesting math challenges, and not even Sudoku. Everyone knows how to do Sudoku or where to get Sudoku. I do different things, much more creative. Right. The math challenges, and there's actually, I found a new one called, instead of a word search, it's a number search. So instead of words, it's numbers. And then at the bottom, there's like some clues that you have to figure out the answer to, and then look for that. So for example, it said Halloween. So you had to look for the date of Halloween. So it's 10/31. So the number you have to search for was 10/31. So that I thought that was really fun. That was a creative new game that I found. So, but every day it's a different thing. And then sometimes, besides the brain exercises, I do lifestyle factors. We all know there's a big emphasis on research on aging and lifestyle factors. So we all know how good, I think by now we all know I've been talking about this for years. How good exercise is for our brain, movement, exercise, strength training. It could be anything from Pilates to swimming, whatever you can do. Walking, if people can't exercise, just walk, just get moving. They're saying that, sitting in this chair all day is doing us in. It's really not doing good for our brains. Forget our bodies, but definitely not for our brains. So, and when we know that when we exercise, it actually grows our brain cells. It produces BDNF, right? BDNF is brain-derived neurotrophic factor. It's the growth factor for our brain. So when we exercise, there's something like actually happening. It's not just like we feel good, because we do feel good when we exercise, but there's so much more to it. It actually creates BDNF in our brain, which is the growth factor in the brain, which is helping us grow new brain cells. So some of the brain exercises have to do with the lifestyle factors. So sometimes we talk about foods that are good for you. We had the other day a veggie challenge. I challenged everyone in the group to eat 2 new vegetables that they've never eaten before. And it could be any color. It could be every color of vegetable has different vitamins and minerals, right? And we know the greens are specifically antioxidants, but all the different color vegetables have different vitamins and minerals in them. So some of the challenges will be more like that as opposed to brain games. And also socialization, right? We know another pillar of the lifestyle factors that are good for us is socialization. So I'll challenge people to pick up the phone and call someone that they haven't called in a while, or call an extra person today. If you usually speak to 5 people, call someone extra today to talk to, or say hello to a stranger on the street and start up a conversation. Socialization is good for us as we age. And, we take that for granted, but I think we saw the value of this in COVID, right? I was doing webinars all over the world during COVID on aging and memory topics. And all these webinars, I had hundreds of people on some of these webinars. And they were all like raising their hand and saying, I'm really feeling my brain and my cognition deteriorating. And I'm like, yeah, you're not leaving your house. You're not exercising. You're not socializing with anyone. You are not using your brain. You are going to feel a deterioration. And unfortunately, we saw it a lot. It was very common. The social isolation was devastating for older people, especially the older people that live alone and in the nursing homes. It was just devastating. And I think that really drove home the concept of how impactful socialization is for older people and how much we need each other. Really, at every age, we need each other. But even more so when we get older, we're not meant to be alone. And some people say, oh, I like being alone. I'm not lonely. No problem. You need to socialize with people. When you are talking to someone or volunteering, you are using your brain. Even when you're having a simple conversation, you are using your brain. We take it for granted. But I always use the stark example of imagine an elderly person sitting at home staring at 4 white walls all day. Their brain is going to turn to mush. I'm sorry, that's not a very clinical term. We'll say atrophy. Atrophy. Got to keep that brain. Got to use it. Use it or lose it. We got to keep it active and challenged. When you challenge and learn something new, you are making connections in the brain. New learning makes new connections in the brain. No learning, our brain just atrophies.
So would it apply if you don't use your brain? You will for sure. I wonder if that would be true. I'm just speaking scientifically. I wonder if that would be true at any age, that someone was placed into isolation at any age. I wouldn't want them to do that to anyone, but to go in afterwards and see how much speech is lost, how much reaction time to,
I would think so.
You're out of practice, but more than that, parts of your brain is like, you don't need me. So I don't even have to nourish myself here.
I'll tell you an interesting story that you're reminding me of. There's a story about a man who was in solitary confinement for many years, but he was a very good golfer. He used to golf. And what did he keep himself busy with? In his mind, he would practice the golf course and he would imagine swinging his golf club and hitting it and successfully playing a game of golf. And he would go over every step of the golf game in his mind. And
Mhm.
when he came out of solitary confinement and they put him back on the golf course, guess what? He did amazing. Why? Because he was, first of all, he was using his brain, but he was using the power of visualization.
Yes.
And they say that our brain cannot distinguish between real and imagined. So he wasn't really playing golf,
Mhm.
but he was practicing in his mind. His mind was imagining it. And that actually improved his when he went his golf, his golfing when he went back to the golf course, which is amazing. But the point I said that was because he was
Mhm.
using his brain in a very interesting and creative
Yes.
way.
Even feeling, I'm not going to say the right things. I hope I do. Um, Feeling in your body, the kinesthetic and the tactile,
Yeah.
feeling the gloves gripping, feeling that part of your scapula that moves in a certain way. I don't never golfed, so I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
just feeling that movement
Yeah.
that you do, and activating that muscle. And wow, I can't find it right now. There was something at this activity center
Mm-hmm.
for aging adults and for adults who um, are learning to work, etc. They actually put them in front of a screen, which seems like the wrong thing to do
Mm-hmm.
because you need real people, but this screen time is very short, and there is a simple game that happens on the screen that they need to respond to.
Mm-hmm.
And I still want to look it up and what this is called. And they said, wow, even the people who work here, who
Mm-hmm.
come in, and they're going to be helping with an activity or a craft project or something like that. They're going to be um, guiding someone in using technology, because that can happen for both a person who their family support has
Mm-hmm.
faded away because they themselves are continuing to age, and possibly it's something like Down syndrome, and so that support system has faded away
Mm-hmm.
as technology has advanced. Also, and I loved their I've got mine right here. They have one that has bigger buttons and
Mm-hmm.
is brightly colored
Oh, that's
in
cool.
the different segments. So it's just great. But in front of the screen, they do one simple response kind of a thing that gets their brain going. So that's what you've created for people who are going, apparently, this is good for me to allow myself to try something new, to know that other people are doing this too. I love that you don't just send out a book that says, do these things, but that you
Yeah.
actually are interacting with people, or that you've
Yeah.
sent out something that they can interact with. And that, no matter whether it's a person with diagnosed disabilities, whether it's a person who spends much of their time alone, and boy, if you knew the stuff they used to do and the number of people who used to look to them for leadership or whatever, and to think that they're just on their own now. And even the people that work there saying, I want my brain to be sizzling when I hit the day.
Mm-hmm.
I also think about what you were saying of the visualizing, because that would be true for anyone who is pursuing a goal, be it athletic, or about to do a TED talk,
Yeah.
or trying to test themselves. I think of these shows where they're given 3 horrible ingredients and told to make a delicious meal out of it,
Mhm.
and what they would go through. Like, I
Yeah.
visualize visualize myself being careful with my knife. I visualize myself thinking, okay, savory, sweet, sour. I visualize myself, tasting something before I add it, whatever, so that when they get on that moment, when they're in the hot seat, they're like, I have already practiced not flipping out, shutting down, panicking, um, um, visualizing, not going, oh, I'm just not good at this. Visualizing your own self-worth, etc. I mean, it just
Yeah.
all goes together. If I'm going to live to, I'll say 104, if I'm going to live to 104, wouldn't it be great if I was already planning what would I still be doing? And I keep using that word. I don't mean to. Kind of like, what? You're still alive? But visualizing, this is what I'd like to be doing when they
Yeah.
pronounce me gone. And it's like, wow, what was she in the middle of? Instead of, well, she hasn't done anything for a long time. Could have, still
Yeah.
had the ability, but
Yeah.
just really hasn't, it's like, oh, she was right in the middle. And for some people, it would be a jigsaw puzzle. But I'm with you on that. I will work on one, but it doesn't feed me. The same with reading. Reading something that's imaginary and fantastical.
Mhm.
Love doing it for my students when I was a teacher. For me, I love information. I love real stories that really happened.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you being on the screen. We do have several more minutes. I want to make sure that we go through the things that people are going to be able to grab at a moment's notice. What you provide, your book again. Go ahead and give me all that information, and then you get to finish up the show because you're it.
Perfect. Great. Thank you. I think there's a bit of a delay on the screen. I don't know what happened, but you could hear me,
I
right?
know. Oh, yeah, you're
Okay.
perfect, and I'm probably delayed, and yours is getting a little chunky. And hey, we're
Okay.
circling the globe here with
Yeah.
Israel and
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah.
So we there ought to be something, but you go
Yeah.
right ahead. We'll
Okay.
see in the replays which one of us is smooth and which one of us is
Okay.
chunky.
Okay.
You sound perfect.
Okay, great. Thank you. So, yeah, I've been teaching online memory improvement courses since before COVID. So, if anyone wants to really work on their memory, I have a 14 session class that I've been doing live on Zoom. It's everything you want to know about memory, everything. For people that don't want to invest that time and money and energy, we have smaller programs. So, I have the 2-part master class on names to learn the technique to remember names. That's really fun. I have Remembership. It's called Remembership, and that's a membership. It's a 3-month membership, and you do it yourself. So it's every week you get a video, a short video. So these are like 7 or 8 or 9-minute videos, all about memory, different topics in memory, and then a brain exercise. So Remembership comes with a video brain exercise and a monthly group coaching call. They can hop on and ask questions and meet the other members. So I love Remembership. I have a lot of people went through that and it's great, but it's not the techniques. Like I save the good techniques for my course. And then I've been doing webinars all over the world for senior groups and organizations. So if anyone's watching this and they have anything to do with a senior group or organization and you still do Zoom webinars, I have 7 standalone webinars that I could do. Everything from why did I come to the fridge, which is the title of my book, my chapter, because that's actually a webinar that I teach all over the world. So it has 4 techniques in there to improve focus and memory. And then some of my other webinars have to do with brain exercises. Some have to do with actually our self-talk, how our self-talk about memory influences our memory. That's an interesting one. Another topic is lists. If you want to remember a random list of 20 words. So I teach people right then and there how to do it. And it's so amazing to see people go, wow, I just did it. It's amazing.
Take Rena's courses and you will be invited 2 parties to be like the little side attraction of, okay, now memorize all these. Look
Right,
what they
right,
can do.
right. But it doesn't even have to be superstar or memory champion. Like my courses are not the memory champion courses. I am not a memory champion. I cannot recite 200 numbers, after pi. But guess what? I don't want to, and neither do you. We just want to remember to turn off our stove, lock our door, take our medicines, and the names of the people we meet. So what I'm saying is that my course is super practical and super helpful for seniors. If you want to be a memory champion and remember 200 numbers after pi, you're going to have to go learn from someone else. My stuff is for seniors. Most of them do not need that. They want to remember a couple new names, maybe even more than a couple, 20 shopping list items. I can teach them that. So yeah, and then my newest program is Empower. It's a brain training WhatsApp group where every day I post a brain exercise. I talked about that. So yeah, that's what, and I also do one-on-one. So if someone is not comfortable joining groups for whatever reason, or if someone has a diagnosis of dementia but still wants to stimulate their brain, so that is better off doing one-on-one, and I can do that on Zoom with people all over the world. And that is really nice because I get to custom make the program for you. So if we try and exercise it, it's too hard, we make it easier. If it's too easy, we make it harder. So I really enjoy working with people one-on-one as well.
Rena, you have a master's in social work,
I do.
and your website is Rena, RENA. So I do have to use E.
Yes.
Yudkowsky, all one word, no spaces together. Yudkowsky is YUDKOWSKY, begins and ends with Y.
Yeah.
.com. Can they find everything there?
Yes. Yes.
RenaYudkowsky.com. Yay.
Yes. Yes. And you can also email me if anyone has any questions or wants to get in touch with me. It's very easy. It's Rena@RenaYudkowsky.com. So if you know my name, you know my website and my email. So it's Rena@RenaYudkowsky.com is my email. And I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone has.
And thank you for making them easy to remember so that people can continue. Because someone's like, I don't care what it costs. I need to do that big one that she talks about that will bring me in. And I need to do it for me because I am a caregiver, and I need to do it with my loved ones sitting next to me so that we can have fun and laugh and try things together. And they can have an opportunity to build more and not just lose because of a disease or any other kind of an injury or something that's creating this problem, or is causing someone else to feel concern about what's being lost. And this is something they can gain. And so they can buy the book and get 20 experts right in their hands, plus all those words that you didn't know that you were supposed to say. If you don't think that you are a caregiver, don't expect to be a caregiver, you can still be on top of it for the sake of someone that you work with, someone you're neighbors with, that person that just goes, I'm so exhausted. I mean, if you're a boss and you have someone come to work who never talks about what's going on at home, and you can say, hey, I have this book right here. If you're telling me that a lot of medical things are going on with your, I'll say dad, I have this book right here. Give it back to me when you want to. I care about you. You just took down one of the barriers to that person being a much more efficient caregiver. And you just turned them into a loyal person who says, I love working for this person, because they could see it. They had read this book and realized this person is trying to live two lives at once. And one of the lives is starting to spiral.
Right.
And I want that person to know you're amazing and you have resources and there's answers and there's helps and there's somebody who can go, I get it. That paperwork is ridiculous for what you're trying to accomplish. That is just one of the reasons to buy that book.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you. Thank you so much
yay.
for this opportunity. And thank you for
You're
everything you
welcome.
do.
Yay. Are you going to go have something to eat? And can you say it without any E in your sentence?
Lasagna.
Oh, you did it. Oh, I was going to say enjoy. See, I can't even get one word out.
E is a hard one. You have to try an easier one.
Oh, I
Next
wonder if
time.
Italians don't have very many letter E's.
Oh, pizza doesn't have E in it.
No. There's all sorts of, I mean, they say pasta, not noodle.
Right.
Ooh, maybe you would just go into Italian. Maybe there's not so many E's there. It'd be easier. It'd be easier to just talk about Italian food. Oh, Rena, what a joy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for working hard
Mhm.
on what you work hard on and also for understanding as a caregiver yourself.
Thank
I
you.
sure appreciate you. Lasagna. Bye-bye.